Coming up on City Spotlight, we're talking Charleston as we continue the second half of Season 11. First, we sit down with the Mayor of Charleston, Dr. Brandon Combs, Charleston City Manager, Scott Smith, and Charleston Deputy City Manager, Steve Pamperin, about the latest public works and economic development in Charleston. And these three city leaders of Charleston reflect on Scott Smith's time with the City of Charleston. Then we talk Eastern Illinois University with Vice President for Enrollment Management at EIU, Josh Norman. Josh talks about the end of another academic school year at EIU and the latest with his area at EIU in enrollment management. We're focusing in on the City of Charleston and Eastern Illinois University on this latest episode on Charleston, next on City Spotlight.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we're on location for this latest episode on Charleston. We're talking all things Charleston and EIU later in this new episode on Charleston. And we're back at City Hall here on April 25th, and we welcome back three familiar guests to the program. We'll start on the right, Dr. Brandon Combs, Mayor of Charleston. Brandon, always a pleasure.
Yes, same here. It's good to see you, Ramin.
Excellent. And Scott Smith, Charleston City Manager. Scott.
Good to see you again.
Good morning. And Steve Pamperin, Charleston Deputy City Manager and City Planner. Steve, always a treat.
Ramin, good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Great to have familiar guests here talking the City of Charleston as we tape here at the end of April, April 25th here in City Hall in Charleston. And let's get right to it. It's a rainy day outside today on April 25th, and there's been a lot of rain lately. So I just want to ask, how are your city crews doing with public works and doing all their jobs, and name drop some of the things they've been working on lately?
Well, obviously rain does present some challenges. Flooded basements and different things throughout the community. But fortunately, knock on wood, it hasn't been too bad. But we have had some pretty decent rain totals over the last 30 to 45 days. And so it looks like we're getting a little rain today and potentially this evening or later this evening as well. So, but we needed some rain too. So, as far as projects go, and I think Steve could elaborate on this too, our teams are very, very busy. We've got some projects going at both of our plants, continuing work on Lover's Lane, and obviously the big project right now is Douglas,
yes.
the road improvements on Douglas. So
very noticeable.
That's the big one for right now. But of course, that's a contracted project, but our crews are obviously doing some work down there as well. And then we've got, typical sidewalk work, utility work, drainage work. So the guys are busy right now.
Steve, as he alluded to, this is a busy time of year when public works crews and all municipalities are busy getting at it and doing little and big projects.
Yeah, and not just the projects that we have going on right now, but obviously we have a lot of great projects that are slated, for the spring, summer. We're planning to do a lot of work on Madison Avenue this year, which we're doing right now with some sidewalk work and some ADA accessible intersections at sidewalks. We've got some work planned on 12th Street to kind of be part of the Eastern's project with the Science Center, doing improvements there. So yeah, like Scott said, there's a lot of projects going on right now, but we have a lot of things slated for the summer too. So we're really excited to see how the summer progresses.
Okay, very good. So a lot of projects all around town and moving forward. Let's quickly switch over to economic development, and visually, the new Huck's gas station is quickly looking closer to completion. I saw the pumps up the other day, and very noticeable on Lincoln Avenue.
Yes.
When might it open?
So we don't we don't have
That's what people want to know.
right.
Yeah.
We don't have a ribbon cutting date yet, but yeah, you're right. It is a beautiful looking building. They've invested so much time and money into the community, and we're very thankful for that. A couple of other really nice projects that are going on right now. If you go down 18th Street across from Casey's, a new doctor's office is going on there,
Yes.
which is a beautiful building and a great addition there on 18th Street.
Dr. Esri just moving across the street.
That's right, Dr. Esri's
That's
new
actually
office.
right in front of the first house I lived in Charleston, Illinois.
Really?
Right there.
Well, as Dr. Esri and his partners, are moving across there, and of course we have a nice project going across from Eastern right now. Some facade work there on where Ike's is, and that little strip right there. So we are always grateful for the investment in the community, and just thrilled to see this. And the good thing is we have several other projects there in the hopper. Can't talk about right now, but it should be a really good summer on that as well.
That little strip area there in front of Old Main, I'm a fond consumer of Siam ties. So it'd be
very nice.
very, very nice to see what goes up there down the road.
Yeah, it should be beautiful.
He's done a really good job. I talk to Joe regularly, and he loves Charleston, loves investing in Charleston, and we're extremely thankful for Joe doing everything he's done in the building, the old building, or the house that's been there forever. He took that thing down.
Just noticed that as well there. Yep. It looked like I read something about this. We have future plans moving forward with the old Charleston Walmart.
Yeah, so we've been working on this now for 12 to 18 months. It's been a little while, but we've been in contact with the owner of the property, and still working through some final design engineering and these kind of things. But you're right, they're talking for the former Walmart climate controlled indoor storage at that location, and then off to the side of that, a restaurant location with some indoor recreation. They're hoping indoor pickleball courts and some other things inside there. So if they can work through their final design engineering, hopefully they'll get a start on it sooner rather than later. But if that thing happens, it's going to be a really beautiful addition to that side of town. So we're really excited, and again, really thankful for his investment, and hopefully they will go ahead and see that through.
Either of you, that has been a long-standing water cooler talk, City of Charleston. I think I've asked you just casually on this program about it, and we all remember what it was once, and now it's going to be something else moving forward.
Well, I mean, it's just like you look at the Hucks project, 20-some years. I mean, the last thing that was there was C&D Triple Play that Charlie and Donna owned. I mean, and then it sat empty for years, and then now the old Walmart. And I mean, we're extremely thankful once again, and feel blessed that there's people that see Charleston for what it is and want to be here, want to invest, and so to get things like that, not vacant anymore is. I mean, it's just a huge plus. I mean, it's a plus for Eastern students. It's a plus for the community, and I mean, that's what we want to see.
It's a community thing. Talk about the repurposing of buildings, because that's a tricky thing too in a lot of communities. It doesn't always work for every community, and that's been sitting there a long time, and the fact that it still gets to be repurposed after all these years, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it'll if we're talking about the Walmart,
Yes.
I think there's a real opportunity there for rebirth's not really a good name, but that's what I'm thinking. First thing came to mind of that entire development area. I mean, you think about the number of people potentially that could come to that location, and what that might do for the other vacant areas in that strip center, and just what that would do for that corner and all the other affected businesses in that area is a real positive.
That whole area of existing shopping, there's a lot of parking spaces, so it'd be good to see cars in there.
Absolutely.
Spending money, I guess.
We've been real lucky over the last couple of years. We've had a lot of really great projects, and last 2 years in Charleston have been some of our biggest redevelopment, construction permit years on record. So this just keeps adding to it, and we're hoping this summer continues that trend of people investing in our great city.
Anything else before we go to the last part of our interview that is going on here in 2025 that you can speak of, or whether or not you can't name drop? Anything else notable going on later in the back half of the year?
I think that, and Steve would probably touch on this one too, but because he's been intimately involved in it. But there's some additional projects that are about to occur down at Linder Sports Complex. We've been in a partnership collaboration with the university on a project out there, and of course we got a grant for the new pickleball facility, tournament grade quality facility that's going to be constructed at Linder Sports Complex.
Wonderful.
And then we're talking about building an additional soccer field on that vacant property, the future home of hopefully a community center someday.
Wow.
But in that northwest corner there, we're looking at potentially building some additional soccer space or just outdoor public recreation space there, but primarily for soccer because soccer's big. So there's a need for that. So there's some additional work that'll be going on out there that'll be commencing here pretty shortly, I guess, maybe June-ish.
Yeah, we're hoping to bring some of those things to the council in May to get some of the bids awarded and that sort of thing with the start of June or this summer. So
Yeah.
you're going to see even more improvements out at Linder Sports Complex.
Some major projects out there, and I just want to say, as we talk about Linder and everything that we've done out there, and I talk about, or I think all the way back to now, I can say it's been 12 years sitting through the First City Retreat and some of the ideas that Scott had for the community and Lake Charleston and then Linder and everything. And, you know, Scott has been able to see a lot of this through, guide myself and counsel along the way through all of this. And it's just like yesterday was such a beautiful day. I drove through there on my way to go pick someone up, and it was awesome to see so many people out there playing soccer, kids, but there were kids out there just playing catch. There were kids, and there were so many people on the walking paths.
Yes.
I was telling my son, I'm like, start counting, buddy. I mean, we got over 30 people on the walking paths, and that was just the side that I could see, you know, driving through there. So that has been an amazing, just an astonishing improvement to our community as a whole.
Sometimes ideas take a while to get going. I happened to be out and about last night too. My son had a scout activity at Lake Charleston, and I saw tons of people out there doing all the activities that you just name dropped, Brandon. Very good. In our final part of this segment, we're going to talk about you guys and the transition for the city of Charleston, as we're talking here with Steve, Scott, and Brandon. And Scott, you are retiring soon. When is the final day?
So it's a twofer. We're going to transition my position into the city manager emeritus position in May with Steve, with the council's blessing and support to my position, May the 6th. And then I will officially retire in September. And that will give Steve and I the additional time necessary as he fully assumes my role to assist with him with some projects. We've got several things that are in the works right now that we're working on jointly, but continue to assist in that transition. There's a lot of things people don't realize where banking, there's just a lot of stuff that has to be done where it'll give him and I some additional time to meet with different people, get my name off, get him on. He and Steve Bennett are assuming a couple positions on pension boards. There's just a lot of things that have to happen. And so a hard cutoff date, at least in my capacity, would make things difficult for the city. This will allow me to transition out, still provide support to the city, but give him the ability to assume the new role.
Before I ask you a follow-up, Scott, so as of the time of this taping, this program will be airing after that date, so everybody's titles will be reflective of when we're taping here on April 25th.
Correct.
All right, Scott, I want to ask you a question that probably could be a 10-minute answer, but give me your best short answer, reflection on over 30 years of service to your hometown of the city of Charleston.
It's kind of a unique situation. I had a long interview yesterday with a gentleman that graduated from Eastern back in the 70s and participated in a phone interview, and he's writing a new book. And so we talked a little bit about that. But, you know, I spent the first baker's dozen sort of years in a different position. That was over parks, recreation, tourism, and public property. And I really enjoyed my time. That's where I got my start, and really enjoyed the time spent on that side of the office, and then stepped into this new role in 2003, and probably are one of the longest standing tenured managers in the state at this time. And so, but it's afforded me the opportunity to grow, learn, work with different people. I've learned a lot about government and a lot about management. But I will say my team that I brought in and the team that I'm working with, I'm just so proud of. I didn't do anything. They've done all the heavy lifting. And I'm just so proud of the accomplishments that we've made over the last 22 years. And as the mayor pointed, I mean, I get blamed for, you know, maybe playing favorites to parks and recreation, okay. But I feel like, and I think the chiefs would agree, that I've I've done a lot of work in public safety with improvements to their buildings, improvements to our equipment. We went from 3 ambulances to 5 ambulances.
Wow.
We've made significant improvements to the police department, the training facilities, improvements to the water and wastewater. We constructed a new water plant. There's been a lot of investment in public utilities, and really we've spread the love. Hopefully, it's seen that way throughout the city. But just being a part of that, and growing up here, and the relationships and the opportunity to serve my hometown is kind of unique, but something that I will cherish forever. And when I came to work here, I really did come home with the idea that I would work for the city for the rest of my career, and I'm glad I was able to do that, raise my 3 children here. They all went to Charleston High School, so that was really important to me. So, you know, family first, but I mean, you know, just having this opportunity has been a real pleasure for me. And working with the mayor and all my past mayors, looking forward to Steve taking over, and he and Mr. Bennett are going to do great things. I know they've got the support of the city council, and again, I want to thank all my council members, every one of them, for the time that they served, and that includes all my park board members all those years, and for their support. Everybody's been great. It's been a great experience.
Team effort, and congratulations.
Thank
for
you.
Happy retirement, and thank you for all the times you've come on this program.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
We'll go Steve, and then we'll give Brandon the final words. Steve, we've had you on the program a few times, and we obviously worked on the Lake Charleston video, which was a great experience for me personally, and obviously it was award-winning for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And talk about moving forward with this new position, and you know this community very well.
Yeah, and I've been in Charleston for, gosh, almost 31 years now, in 2 different capacities. And obviously the mayor and council, you know, will make their decision on how to move forward. If I am fortunate enough that they want to continue that journey, then of course I would be humbled to continue to serve in public service and the community. But before I even talk about that, you know, I needed to say, you know, thanks to Scott for all of his years, all of his mentoring, all of the projects. If you look around Charleston just for a minute and know all the things that Scott's leadership has brought to this city, you know, we're just very fortunate and blessed to have him. So really this isn't about me at this time. It's, you know, it's about Scott and his retirement, and how thankful we are for all of his time devoted to the city.
Very kind words, and thank you for sharing those thoughts. And Brandon, I leave you with the final words here, talking about, and by the way, congratulations, a decade of being the mayor of Charleston. Remember the first time that we taped it, you being, obviously you were the interim mayor at the time, but reflection here, I know this is a tough, maybe awkward for people to talk about each other, but reflect on Scott, working with him, and the time moving forward here with Steve. You have a great team here at the city of Charleston.
We'll just put it this way, I wouldn't want to be mayor if it wasn't for the time that I've got to spend with Scott. It's been a true honor and a blessing. I've got to know him more than just the city manager. I've got to see leadership. I've learned leadership skills from him. I've seen the way he's handled tough situations. I've watched him personally get us through some major financial crises, through a pandemic. I mean, you know, those are some of the big things, but what a lot of people don't know about Scott is his work ethic and the time he puts in. This city would not be where it is today without this man's leadership. And it is just, you can't get the right words to say something about someone who has devoted their whole life to something. And he has legitimately devoted most of his adult life to this community. And it is just, this is a time of my life, the 12 years that I've been able to serve with him, is 12 years that I will cherish forever. And, you know, he has left the city in a great position to move forward. He has been an excellent mentor to Steve. He's obviously willing to stick around a little longer to make sure that the transition goes through smoothly, which I think says a lot again to him, that he's still not gonna give up. And I know that if in a year's time something comes up, we'll be able to call Scott and he'll be right there. But you know, I love the man sitting to my right, more than just a city manager, but as a person, as a human being, as a mentor, as a friend, and I just personally, I can't put in words, you know, what he means to not just me, but to the city, and how many lives he has been able to touch that he'll never hear about, or people don't realize the luxuries that we do have in Charleston because of things that he has been able to implement and see forward.
Okay. On City Spotlight, we talk about all the things going on in communities, places, things being worked on, but it all starts with the people. Brandon, Scott, Steve, appreciate your time here on City Spotlight, and again, happy retirement, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks for me.
Thank you, guys. Coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll continue talking Charleston. We'll change locations and talk about the latest going on at Eastern Illinois University. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Charleston. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this new episode on Charleston. We've changed locations and we're going to talk all about Eastern Illinois University. We're outside with the campus pond behind us, and we welcome back to the program Josh Norman, Vice President for Enrollment Management. Josh, always a treat to talk to you, and again outside.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Taping here with Josh on a overcast sunny day here on April 25th. Great to talk to you, Josh. Again, at the end of near the end of another academic school year. Can you believe it's the end of another year?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just wild. You get past spring break, it's like you're in a rocket ship going a million miles an hour. I mean,
we're taping just before commencement. This will air after EIU's spring commencement. So always great to talk to you, Josh, about you and your area of enrollment management here at EIU. We've taped with you several times, and curious to hear about you and your area and what you guys are doing moving forward. You've talked about goals and action plans in the past. I think it was 2 years ago when we taped with you. You mentioned something to the degree of 60 or so action plans.
Yeah.
Has that number increased some more?
Yeah, it has. You know, it's like it feels like at EIU we can never be ambitious enough. And this past year we had our largest number of action plans at 116 action plans. I actually was meeting with a consultant the other day, and they said, "You're crazy to put the kind of stress on yourself to make an annual strategic enrollment plan and have to do that year after year." But yeah, it was our most ambitious, and it will also result in the largest number of plans being undone at the end of it because of that. Yes.
And so can you share with us just some examples of a few of the action plans?
Sure. We did a road show and met with all of the local area superintendents and started a brand new regional direct admission program.
Okay.
After the previous year, we were able to get some legislation passed to be able to give us access to directory information for local students, and it's really allowing us to serve our region well. That is fantastic. We've got some new scholarship programs that we rolled out. One, which is our first ever broad scale legacy scholarship called the Panther Family Scholarship.
Nice.
So students
like the name.
who have parents who have been alums are able to get access $1,000 per year in scholarship for their 4 years that they're here at Eastern. We've got some international student scholarships and some other reconfiguration of existing funds. And so that's really helping make Eastern, which is already extremely affordable, even more affordable. And so that's fantastic. We've got so many other plans. We implemented a new digital asset management system that makes it easier to put out customized marketing material to our students. And so that's not just going to pay dividends for this year, but for future years as well.
Okay.
And then one of our things that we're most proud of is we're revamping our visit center right in the heart of Old Main.
Wow.
We brought in some new staff, and personalization is number one. And so if a student comes in on a daily visit, they want to see someone from financial aid, they get to see somebody from financial aid. And if they want to visit with the chemistry department, they're going to meet with a faculty member from the chemistry department. And that really is what we're all about at Eastern, is just those personal relationships and being able to serve those students well. And so for them to get that feel when they're on campus really helps us create that sense of belonging for them before they even become a student. It's really amazing.
All excellent, great things to hear. I want to piggyback a little bit. You mentioned the regional superintendents. This is just not on my list of questions,
Sure.
but when you meet with superintendents from so many school districts we have, at least in the vicinity of EIU and whatnot, what are their thoughts on EIU? Do they see it as a great place for their high school K through 12 students to come to if they choose that?
Absolutely, and one thing that we talk about is the state's issue with out-migration, right? If a student goes outside of the state of Illinois to pursue higher education, they are 33% likely to never return. And so we talk about that, right? Because you look at the Brookings data and how the young people contribute to the tax base and the income in our communities. And if we don't keep our students here in the state and in our regions, that is going to lead to out-migration that ultimately they realize is going to result in less funding for their schools. And so they are absolutely incredible partners from the standpoint of being bought into direct admissions and promoting their local regional institution in Eastern Illinois University.
You brought up the international students, something we've talked about with you every time you've been on, and always cool to see the international flags at commencement ceremonies. One of my favorite parts of when we stream the commencement ceremonies with WEIU. And this is not a political question, but correct me if I'm wrong. Things in the world have been a little bit challenging. Is it more challenging for international students to get to places like EIU?
Sure. I mean, we're in a place now where we have to be mindful of whether it's a non-traditional student population or our domestic first year or transfers or international students. Like, we really have to work the entire portfolio from the standpoint of making sure that we're serving students well, recruiting them well. International students, there has been difficult seasons before when it comes to recruiting that student population, but it's been really difficult this past year from the standpoint of we've got thousands of applications, but they are having difficulty getting those I-20. We get the I-20 issued and distributed, but they're having such a difficult time getting those visa appointments and ultimately giving that visa. So we can do all the work on our end, but if they can't get here, they don't end up on our campus, and so it's
nothing
tough.
really you can control.
Yeah.
All right. Overlook for fall semester 2025. How are things looking enrollment-wise? As we've talked to you in the past, around this time of year, you're still working till like literally the first day of classes.
Yes.
How are things looking for fall 2025?
Absolutely. May 1 is National Decision Day, and right now, as we compare our first-year commitments to this time last year, we're up 23%.
Okay.
What's amazing is the biggest portion of that is honors-eligible students, up over 30%.
Oh, wow.
As of today, and so we've got some real growth in that first-year population. But again, you mentioned that international student population. That's the big misnomer that could cause us issues from the standpoint of overall enrollment.
Kind of an unknown.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.